Hello everyone, it's Aeon from Low Expectation, and today we're going to talk about Destro Lock. Destruction Warlocks are absolute machines, having one of the biggest damaging cooldowns in the game being Summon Infernal, while also being one of, if not the best, 2-target cleave, due to their unique mechanic Havoc. This does not mean they suck everywhere else, no. They also have amazing sustained AoE with Rain of Fire, and have great utility with health stones, battle reses, and gateways. We'll talk about this a little bit later. Destruction Warlocks are quite simple to play. They build soul shards using certain abilities and spend them with others. Remember, you generate soul fragments, not shards. You need 10 fragments to make a shard. Just keep this in mind. The main ways you build soul fragments is with Immolate, Conflagrate, and Incinerate. You'll be able to build soul fragments with using other spells if you take them as talents. So now that you've built your shards, what do you spend them on? Chaos Bolt for 1 or 2 targets, and Rain of Fire for AoE. That's pretty much it. Now, we spoke briefly about Havoc before. It's unique to Destro Warlocks and is basically a spell that marks a target. Once marked, any spells you cast on a different target will be replicated to your Havoc target. Yes, these replicated spells do generate additional soul shards, and yes, you can duplicate Chaos Bolt for one of the most satisfying visuals you will see. The general playstyle of Destro Warlock is simple. For single target, maintain Immolate, use Incinerate and Conflagrate to generate soul shards, and use Chaos Bolt to spend them. For 2 targets, do the same thing but Havoc on a secondary target. Try to save 4 soul shards before your Havoc, so that once you're in your window of Havoc, you can pump as many Chaos Bolts as possible for that big DPS. And with AoE, you do a single target rotation with Havoc up to generate loads of soul shards to then spend it on Rain of Fire. That's pretty much it. Now let's go to the strengths of a Destro Warlock. You have the best 2-target cleave in the game via Havoc, and within the Shadowlands you can further buff this with Conduits. You also have great solid AoE damage in the form of Rain of Fire Infernals, and an absolute mountain of utility. You have health stones, battle reses, you can even dispel yourself if you have your imp pet out, while also providing raid-wide mobility in the form of a gateway, just to name a few. On top of all of that, 8% of the damage you deal will be converted into a shield upon yourself. This is capped at 10% of your health. However, alongside your 40% damage reduction, this makes you one of the tankiest casters in the game. This is without going into the extra defensives you can get from your level 30 talent row. Now, as great as Destruction seems, you do have a few minor weaknesses. One that is both a strength and a weakness is your Summon Infernal. It is a powerhouse. However, it has a 3-minute baseline cooldown. So just keep this in mind, as it will depend on the content you're doing. Next is mobility. Destruction Warlock's mobility is tied to 2 spells, your Gateway and your Demonic Circle. Both of these take pre-planning to use, and most of the time you won't be able to use your Gateway for just yourself, as the raid team might need it for their strategy. You also have only 1 instant cast spell, meaning moving is very punishing for your rotation. Keep this in mind when you're planning your fights. Another weakness is your single target damage. Due to the class's design, Destro Warlocks tend to struggle on single target compared to their other 2 specs. However, there are only a few fights in Castle Nathria that are pure single target, so this might not be an issue. Lastly is your pet. Even after 16 years, the pet AI bugs sometimes, so make sure your pet isn't off in Narnia or hitting the wrong target, and you should be fine. So that covers the Destro Warlock. However, in Shadowlands, you're able to join a Covenant to gain a Warlock-specific spell and a Covenant-specific spell. If you join the Necrolords, you gain Decimating Bolt. Once cast, it will send a projectile at your target and provide you with a buff. This buff provides a spec-specific ability, a damage increase. This is Demon Bolt for Demo, Shadow Bolt for Affliction, and Incinerate for Destruction. The percentage damage increase is based on the target's life. Simply, the lower health the target, the bigger the damage increase. It's essentially an execute. The Covenant ability you get with the Necrolords is Fleshcraft. Channel for a few seconds and gain a shield afterwards. If there are any corpses around you, you get a bigger shield. You can augment this with your soulbinds to make it more interesting. Venthyr gain Impending Catastrophe. Send a cloud of death magic at your target. Once it arrives, it will explode, leaving a damage over time effect on everything it hit, and apply a curse. The 2 curses it can apply are Curse of Tongues and Curse of Weakness. Not Agony, unfortunately. The Covenant ability is Door of Shadows. It's a teleport with a cast time, which is quite nice for Warlock, honestly. With Night Fae, you gain Soul Rot. After a short cast time, your target will be hit with instant damage and 3 nearby enemies will be hit with a dot. After that, any drain life you cast will affect every target affected by Soul Rot. The Covenant ability is Soul Shape. It's basically a Ghost Wolf that can blink, which is nice for Warlock, however, you cannot cast during it, which is a little bit sad. And lastly is Kyrian. You will gain Scouring Tide. Place a damage over time effect on a target. If the target dies with a dot on them, you will gain 5 Soul Shards. If the target survives the duration of the dot, the cooldown is reset. Now, a big note on this is that it can be havocked, meaning you can place havoc on a mob that you know will die soon and then cast Scouring Tides on your main target that you know will survive. Kind of like a boss and an ad situation in raid. This means that when the ad dies, you will gain 5 Soul Shards, and when the dot expires on the main target, it will be refreshed. This is huge for Destruction Warlocks. The Covenant ability is the best Owly boy. He brings you an extra potion that can remove debuffs and heals you. This does not share a cooldown with Hellstone or Healing Potion, which is more tankiness. Now I can't tell you which is best, as it changes every week, but you'll be able to find that information out on the Warlocks Discord and Wowhead once the expansion is released and more sims have been done. However, do not stress. You can change to a different covenant that you have not been to before with 2 clicks in Ouroboros. So pick whatever you want, and if it turns out to be the best, great. If not, you can switch in Ouroboros very quickly. It only becomes an issue when you want to switch back to a covenant you've already left. So Destruction is incredible. Looking to be a key factor in endgame raiding, they have great cleave and AoE while also being able to do decent single target. And if the fight really needs single target, you can always change spec to Affliction. There will be a guy coming on Affliction, so keep a lookout. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and until next time guys, have a good one.